Does the CBD for your product, do you grow the hemp in one place in Canada, or is it from different farms?
All of the hemp, actually, Vadim, right now we are growing in the Yunnan province of southern China. And there was no intention of actually starting this company. It all started from the CEO, who's a friend and a business partner in other ventures that I'm in, was actually invited to China to speak on the behalf of the Canadian government on hemp, because at that time he was the CEO of another hemp company that actually ended up going public. So he was invited to China on a trade mission to speak on hemp. And one of the eventual partners of ours from the Chinese side was at the show, at the talk. They heard him talk, they wanted to meet, and which eventually led to this company starting. So there was no real searching out, let's get involved in a Chinese hemp play, but the genie in the bottle of it, or the magical thing that came out of it, was this formula. And when the CEO showed me the COA, he's like, I'm going back to China because there's this really interesting opportunity to get involved in this cannabinoid play, but it's beyond CBD. It's got THCV and CBG and CBDV. And I was like, oh, I don't believe you. Show me a COA. He showed me the COA. I think within a few weeks, I was on a plane to China to meet with the partners, to go to the extraction facility. And then the Kanabia brand really came out of that. So it was the only place where you're going to find, and if anyone wants to do their research, they're going to find out that it's these Asian strains of industrial hemp are the ones that are expressing THCV in these quantities. So not only was it the THCV that they were able to have through their genetics, it was also CBG and the CBDV and CBD. You know, your question on Canada and we've grown literally millions of plants, and we were never allowed to grow to harvest for cannabinoids. It's only in 2018 did they allow Canadian hemp farmers to actually possess the hemp flowers, and now they are selling them. They're allowed to sell the biomass to licensed producers in Canada, who then transform that into CBD products. But their farmers themselves are only allowed to sell the biomass. They cannot get into any type of vertical integration. So all of our hemp is all grown in China right now.
Well, China's been growing hemp for thousands of years.
They've never stopped.
They've never stopped. So if there was no hemp in China, there wouldn't be any hemp in Colorado.
Did they know? I'm so curious about that. I always had this image that they didn't know about the CBD, but I'm sure they do. I mean, did they know about it back then?
Don't forget, this is growing in southern China in a very pristine environment. And the way that the hemp is being grown and processed and the varietals that are being used are really unique. It's not like we're going to go to Mexico or we're going to go to Uruguay or we're going to go to the United States. Why aren't we in Oregon? And in the future, we may carry some of these varietals to other places to grow. But to start off with our partners, this is not just a supply arrangement. This is a partnership with the people that are doing the growing and the extraction. So we're there because of the very, very unique relationship and very unique formula.
And just so I know, just to dial into your question, it was our partners that were the lobby force to the Chinese government to actually make it legal to extract cannabinoids. Because up until then, you were only allowed legally to grow hemp in China for fiber, which they did for thousands of years. But when the hemp food phenomena started in North America, which I'll probably say Manitoba Harvest really kind of led the way, they then started growing for seed and dehulling the seed, and you could then buy hemp hearts or shelled hemp seed commodity-wise from China. The next evolution was to extract the cannabinoids. So did they know 30 years ago when they were just growing hemp for fiber? Some did, but it wasn't really, it wasn't the common knowledge that maybe it was more in the Western and North America and Europe. But our partners, they knew. They were early in the game because they were the lobby force to actually make hemp legal to extract the cannabinoids. So they were the first to get the license to actually do that. So it is still very, even though China has thousands of years of recorded history as a medicine, and those early Chinese herbalists did they know CBD? They didn't know them, but they knew something was happening, on an acupressure, acupuncture, whatever traditional Chinese med, they knew something was going on with this plant because people were getting medicinal relief from certain ailments, which, funny enough, we're now just all going to prove out as, at universities, but they knew thousands of years ago that it was a medicine. But yeah, we're very fortunate to have this partnership. Again, Jerry, it's not just a supply agreement.
These people live and eat and breathe and sleep cannabis. They're real cannabis enthusiasts. So we feel like we've really hooked up with a really deeply serious team that just loves the plant.
Yeah.
And are real cannabis.
Yeah, they're in all places of hemp. We're just partnered up with them on this cannabinoid play, but they're involved in the fiber. They're involved in anything and everything you could think of hemp. It's under their umbrella. So they're really very, very passionate about the plant. They caught the bug as I did 30 odd years ago and Jerry 50 years ago. So yeah, again, that's where all the, long answer short, that's where all the hemp is growing. But we are in discussions in different parts, even within the US, as to start some extracting and moving our genetics. And we want to be growing with a less of a footprint, to actually be producing the hemp and extracting the hemp closer to the markets that we're deeply involved in and the communities we're involved in. So, we're looking at South America and Europe and the US and Canada eventually as well, which is a sad truth that millions and millions of milligrams of cannabinoids have just been burnt literally or plowed under or baled into rotting bales of hemp across the prairies in Canada, that the medicine was never extracted. So thankfully that's now done, because the hemp farmers in Canada can actually harvest hemp and sell the biomass.
Yeah.